everyone, I'm Casey from Rentec Direct, and today we're going to talk to you about evictions. Now, evictions are a landlord's worst nightmare, mostly because it means that you have a tenant who is violating some lease term or not paying rent, and you need to get them to move out as soon as possible. Now, evictions are more than just telling your renter that they need to move or changing the locks. It's actually a very complicated, lengthy legal process, and you need to follow it exactly. Because if you don't, you could risk delaying the eviction, losing money, or even worse, you could end up owing your rule-breaking tenant money. So in this video, we're going to go over the 5 steps to a legal eviction. Official eviction includes a few things. Most importantly, it includes a court order, official notices, adherence to your state laws, good communication and appropriate communication with your renters, and most importantly, an eviction requires patience. Now, an illegal eviction, which can get you in so much trouble with the court system, can be characterized by some of the following things, like changing the locks, putting any of your renters' belongings on the curb or in the garbage, shutting off utilities or other services, or threatening your renter with an eviction or increased fine. An official eviction is actually a lawsuit, sometimes referred to as an unlawful detainer lawsuit, that a property manager or a landlord files against a tenant in order to regain possession of the property. Only after a judge has ruled in favor of the eviction can a landlord or a property manager work with law enforcement to get the tenant removed from the property at an agreed upon date and regain control of that property. In order for a property owner to win an eviction ruling, he must do a few things. He has to prove that the tenant violated a lease to him, prove that he gave the renter official notices to fix that violation, and prove that the proper eviction process was followed. Now let's go over that eviction process. Step 1, a renter has to violate a lease term. For example, the renter didn't pay rent when it was due. Step 2, you have to notify your tenant of the lease violation per your state laws. For example, if your tenant failed to pay rent this month, you have to give them an official pay rent or quit notice. This is basically an official notice that lets your renter know that they have to pay the past due rent on a certain date or move out. If they don't pay the rent or they don't move out by that date, you're letting them know that you're gonna go ahead with filing that eviction. It's very, very important that you provide this notice in an official way. So this can include putting it on their door, but then also sending it in the mail via certified mail, so you have a receipt and a copy that you can show the court saying that you followed that official eviction process and you provided them with the pay rent or quit notice. It's super important that you do not text your tenant or get in a heated discussion with them, letting them know something like, if you don't pay, I'm gonna evict you, because that's considered threatening and that is illegal and you can get in a lot of trouble for that. Step 3, filing the eviction. So if your renter doesn't pay the past due rent or fix the lease violation or move out, as stated in that official notice that you gave them, it's time to actually move forward with filing the eviction. So you go down to your local courthouse and you file that unlawful detainer lawsuit against your tenant. The court will give you a hearing date and they will be responsible for notifying the tenant of the summons. Step 4, attend the court hearing. So at your court hearing, you're gonna need to provide proof that your tenant violated a lease term, that you gave official notice to the tenant to fix the lease violation, and that you followed your state's laws exactly for an official eviction process. It's also a really good idea to bring any sort of records or notes that you have that could be useful, as your tenant might try and prove that you violated some other landlord-tenant law in hopes of getting this eviction case dismissed. Step 5, regain possession of your property. So after a judge has ruled in favor of your eviction, you can contact local law enforcement who will help you with removing the tenant on an agreed upon date. Now you can get the property rent ready and back on the market so you can start generating that rental income you've missed. And that's a quick overview of the 5 steps to a legal eviction process for your rental properties. Check out the links below for more information on evictions. I'm Casey from Rentec Direct. You can find me on Twitter at @rentergirl, and you can find more advice for property managers, landlords, investors, and renters at rentecdirect.com/blog. See you next time.